US President-elect Donald Trump suggested he might impose tariffs on Denmark if the country rejects his offer to purchase Greenland, which he claims is crucial for United States national security. However, Denmark has firmly stated that Greenland is not for sale. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen responded, emphasizing that the people of Greenland have the sole right to determine the island's future.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen. We're not letting it happen. And if Denmark wants to get to a conclusion, but nobody knows if they even have any right, title, or interest. The people are going to probably vote for independence or to come into the United States. But if they did do that, then I would tariff Denmark at a very high level. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. Giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion, more so maybe than the hostages. The hostages were a big deal. But if you remember, and nobody wants to talk about the Panama Canal now because, you know, it's inappropriate, I guess, but because it's a bad part of the Carter legacy. But he was a good man. Look, he was a good man. I knew him a little bit, and he was a very fine person, but that was a big mistake. Giving the Panama Canal to Panama was a very big mistake. Respected again all over the world. The Panama Canal is a disgrace, what took place at the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave it to them for $1, and they were supposed to treat us well. I thought it was a terrible thing to do. Was the fact that they are allowing prisoners to come into our country. We gave it away for $1. But the deal was that, you know, they have to treat us fairly. They don't treat us fairly. They charge more for our ships than they charge for ships of other countries. They charge more for our Navy than they charge for navies of other countries. They laugh at us because they think we're stupid, but we're not stupid anymore. So the Panama Canal is under discussion with them right now. They violated every aspect of the agreement, and they've morally violated it also. What immediately is? Just leave it in place. No. To be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. It was a very good news conference. I think they've come a long way. Meta. Economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. We don't need anything they have. We don't need their dairy products. We have more than they have. We don't need anything. So why are we losing $200 billion a year and more to protect Canada? And I said that to, as I called him, Governor Trudeau. I said, listen, what would happen if we didn't subsidize you, if we didn't, because we give them a lot of money. So we'll do this again. I just want to thank everybody very much. No, right. But why are we supporting a country, $200 billion plus a year? Our military is at their disposal. All of these other things, they should be a state. That's why I told Trudeau when he came down, I said, what would happen if we didn't do it?
Jeg vil selvfølgelig gerne knytte nogle ord til den diskussion, der pågår lige nu omkring Grønland, og gøre det meget klart, at set med den danske regeringsbriller, så er Grønland grønlændernes. Det er et meget, meget stolt folkefærd. Det er et sprog, det er en kultur, det er en befolkning, som er sin egen, og som formand for Naalakkersuisut, Mochi Edde i øvrigt har sagt, så er Grønland ikke til salg. USA er vores absolut tætteste allierede. Vi vil altid gerne arbejde tættere sammen med amerikanerne. Det gælder i alle forsvars- og sikkerhedspolitiske spørgsmål. Det gælder også Nordatlanten, hvor spændingerne tager til. Og vi har set med vestlige briller en meget klar interesse i, at det er USA, der, når det kommer til hele det område, at det er USA, der spiller en stor rolle, og ikke for eksempel Rusland eller andre lande. Men Grønland, det er grønlændernes. Ja, der er mange ord i luften lige nu. Jeg synes først og fremmest, at vi skal bevare roen. Og så skal vi selvfølgelig stå fast på de principper, som vi arbejder på og som vi arbejder under. Vi har behov for et meget, meget tæt samarbejde med amerikanerne. Det har vi som Danmark, det har vi i NATO-sammenhæng. Det har vi også som rigsfællesskab, fordi vi er i en meget, meget urolig verden. Og vi er en del af den samme alliance. Så det er på den ene side vigtigt. Og på den anden side, så vil jeg opfordre alle til at respektere, at grønlænderne er et folkefærd, det er en befolkning. Det er deres land, vi taler om her, og det er kun Grønland, der i mine øjne kan bestemme og definere Grønlands fremtid.
Det er klart, man har jo fra Grønlands side en interesse i at have et stærkt samarbejde med USA. Det har vi også fra dansk side, og vi kommer også til at have et forstærket samarbejde i forhold til spørgsmål omkring Arktis her i løbet af de kommende år.
Men Chemnitz, hun har sagt i dag, at hun tit har talt for døve ører, når det gælder forsvarspolitik. Har I ikke lyttet nok eller været nok på banen?
Det synes jeg er forkert at nå frem til den konklusion. Jeg tror, for snart 2 år siden lavede jeg et ret stort interview, lige da jeg var startet som fungerende forsvarsminister, hvor jeg sagde og slog fast, at vi kom til at prioritere meget større investeringer i Arktis, fordi vi ser ind i en helt anden situation, end vi har gjort tidligere. Og de forhandlinger omkring investeringer i en ny aftale omkring Arktis tager vi så faktisk også hul på i dag.